What's up, guys? Welcome back again to your Heroclix headquarters. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys the team I just used to get second place at my local IPF event with this guy right here, Iron Hammer, of all things. You guys would not think that Iron Hammer could be meta, but the Iron Hammer strikes again. He is still meta. He'll always be meta to me. So without further ado, let's get right into it. If you guys don't already know what Iron Hammer can do, he has this amazing trait here, which gives him super senses, and when he uses it and succeeds, instead of evading the attack, you may choose an opposing character within range and line of fire to become the hit target. That's right, you heard that correctly. If he hits super senses, he chooses any opposing character within range and line of fire to become the hit target. They can't super sense out of that, they can't mastermind it, they become hit, and there's nothing they can do about it. And the funny thing is, I usually would pull this off like once per game, every game that I would win. And that's pretty much all it takes to just turn the whole tide in your favor. If you can pull that off once or twice, it's over. You've won. They've wasted an entire action to just hurt themselves. And, 9 times out of 10, I would just turn it against the figure that would die most easily, like most definitely. And funny enough, a lot of times people would charge at me with super strength holding an object, try to do massive damage. And I'm like, oh, senses. All right, I guess that guy over there takes 6 damage. So yeah, super fun when that actually goes off. People will not attack him. People will go out of their way to do anything but attack Iron Hammer if they can help it. The only problem is it is susceptible to outwit, which I will get to more on that later. But he does also have a special attack power, which is amazing as well, that gives him penetrating psychic blast and improved targeting for hindering elevated end characters, so everything but blocking. And when Iron Hammer hits with a range attack after resolutions, deal 1 penetrating damage to all untargeted opposing characters adjacent to a hit target. So that's amazing. You just have to hit one guy in the center of everybody, and you can ping everyone else for 1 penetrating damage. You don't have to hit their defense or anything. They just take the damage, so long as you hit somebody next to them. Honestly, sometimes that could be an issue. It could be kind of difficult to hit. If they rolled senses or something, that was the only thing that's really sucked if he missed his attack. But if he hits his attack, he does a massive damage, and then he gets a ton of free damage to everybody next to him too. But then he also has invincible willpower, and it's protected outwit on his special defense power. And he gets a special damage power later, which doesn't really matter, which is exploit weakness. And when Iron Hammer hits with a close attack after resolutions, choose 1. Each hit target is given an action token, or each hit target modifies attack -1 till your next turn. So that's nice, I guess. Nothing too crazy there. Honestly, if you see that power, you're not doing too great. You don't really want to see that power. You want to stay click number 1 if possible at all times with the running shot, that special penetrating blast power, invincible, and the range combat expert. So he's shooting 12 for 4 penetrating and pinging everybody for 1. I did play him at 100 points, by the way. That's why I said he'd be 12 for 4 here. You could play him at 150. I've actually been doing a lot of tinkering with this team, and I think I might be trying him out at 150 next time, potentially. But anyway, yeah, this guy's super good. Very, very strong range attacker. 7 range triple target as well, if you didn't notice that. So yeah, long range, triple target, can see through a ton of stuff. If you pick your targets correctly, you don't want to, target certain characters because you want them to be hit with the free penetrating after resolutions. Yeah, it's super good. And then I also equipped him with the trick arrows. So I have like 3 of every trick arrow here. If you don't know what they do, well, go watch one of my review videos, and you can see these things are pretty nuts. They're super good. I will say that 9 times out of 10, the ones I would pick were the big arrow, because on reveal, which is on hit, you can choose a square adjacent to a hit target, and after resolutions, this character can use Quake as free as if they occupied the chosen square, and then after resolutions, generate a blocking terrain marker in the chosen square. So yeah, it just gets you an extra attack with Quake. It's kind of nice. Or the main one I would really like to use with him, I'd usually just load up 2 of these because you can play multiples. That's why I have like 3 of all of them, is Too Dangerous, because on reveal, choose a hit character. Instead of normal damage, deal 3 damage to that character and all characters adjacent to them, and then knock back each damaged character 1 square. And then after resolutions, again, you'd ping everybody adjacent to the hit character for 1 penetrating. So this one is super amazing. Also, the damage is penetrating because he has penetrating Psychic Blast. That means all of his range attack damage is penetrating. Same thing if you use this on a close attack and you have Exploit, all the damage will be penetrating. So yeah, that's why I would usually load up 2 of these arrows on him, because it's just ridiculous. I mean, you shoot one guy, him and everybody adjacent to him, which again, you don't have to hit everybody adjacent to them. They just take the damage. So they all take 3 penetrating damage from that, and then they all knock back, potentially taking a knockback damage. And then after resolutions, everybody that's still adjacent to the originally targeted character takes 1 penetrating damage from his effect. And yeah, it's just super nuts. Lots of damage potential there. I also occasionally used the USB arrow if there was a ton of equipped characters, because he could just de-equip a bunch of them. The electrical could come in handy, and I also used the acid arrow like one time on a Kong. I actually don't know if I ever really used it, but I had it just in case, so that he could reduce damage by 1 less for the rest of the turn, so the rest of my team could gang up on him. I don't think it ever really came into play though, so mainly just the 2 dangerous arrows on him is really, really good. Anyway, like I was talking about, one of the main things that sucks is his super senses is amazing, but if it gets outwitted, you know, that's horrible. So the best thing to make sure it doesn't get outwitted is put him next to Ghost Rider. This Ghost Rider, of course, is really good. Actually, you know, I've been hearing a lot of talk that he's just not good enough for the meta, as after all. I don't know. I still think he's pretty great, though, in my opinion. And I will point out the only keywords that they both share is Defenders. So this is a Defenders theme team. A little bit different than the normal Avengers theme teams I try to play, but close enough. And, you know, it's just fun to play a theme team. I wouldn't think they would normally share a keyword, but Defenders, you know, I'll take it. Defenders is actually a pretty great keyword once I started looking at it. So yeah, Mystics and team player team abilities. He's got the pilot trait, which I will quickly go over the pilots that I had for him. I had 3 on the sideline because you can choose one at the beginning of the game. So I had Doctor Strange, which was only there for the prob mainly, and also kind of the energy explosion, whatever. I actually never used that one. I did use Moon Knight a few times for the precision strike and the perplex, because that's really good. You know, you want the precision strike to deal with like Kong and stuff, and you know, an extra perplex is nice, or the close combat expert sometimes as well, depending on what I felt like. But I also really liked Werewolf by Night. Again, precision strike, but this time outwit instead of perplex. And this guy is actually super duper good as a pilot, because when he comes out on his last non-KO click, which is technically this one, and that is a stop click, which does say that it's impervious, and when this click is first revealed after resolutions, generate a grave hindering terrain marker and turn Werewolf by Night to click number 4. The blue click number 4, and then he can't use his full moon trait this game, which gives him shape change and toughness, so that kind of sucks. But I mean, it is impervious. It puts him on Gliss click number 4, so he has charge, 12 attack blades, 18 impervious, 3 damage with battle fury, and he gets that grave marker. And he does have this trait that when he KOs an opposing character, you can generate a grave hindering terrain marker, and once per game, when he would be KO'd, you may instead place him in any unoccupied grave terrain marker and turn him to the blue click number 4, and then remove that marker from the map, protected pulse wave. So the cool thing is he comes in on this click, he immediately turns to this click and generates a grave, and then if he would be KO'd, he just goes into that grave and goes back to this click, and you know, he gets kind of a second life there. So, and he's really strong with the 12 attack blades and charge and everything, so he's actually a really, really good pilot. I liked him a lot more than I originally thought I would. He also has Mystics, by the way, I forgot to point out. So yeah, super good pilot. But also the Moon Knight pilot has detective keyword, which was kind of handy, because there was one time where he got KO'd when he had the Moon Knight pilot, and then when Moon Knight came out, he got KO'd, and then I used that to generate Scrappy-Doo in his square, because I also have Scrappy-Doo on my sideline. But anyway, actually back to Ghost Rider for a minute, because I wasn't done talking about him. He does have that improved movement for elevated and characters, which is nice. Hypersonic, Poison, Invincible, and 4 damage with leadership, 70 points. But yeah, if you guys didn't already know, the main reason we're playing him here is this trait, King of the Underworld. Ghost Rider and adjacent friendly characters can use their powers regardless of opposing effects, protected pulse wave. So yeah, it just pretty much means that they can never outwit or even pulse wave through Iron Hammer's super senses. He's always going to have it, which is really useful. You know, admittedly, the only problem with this Ghost Rider is he doesn't have any stop clicks or anything, so if they really pile it on, he just kind of dies in one turn. So that can kind of suck. But then he also has regeneration and willpower traded, and when he makes an attack before rolling, you may choose that the attack can't be re-rolled or have its dice replaced, and if you do, he deals penetrating damage, and after resolutions, deal him an unavoidable damage if he missed all targets. So, I mean, that's kind of cool if you want to try that, but the traded regen and willpower is really good, you know, especially with everything else he can do up here and everything he gets from the pilot. And I actually did not have him equipped with anything, which, again, after tinkering around with this team, I've chosen some other things. I want to keep him more protected. I kind of used him more offensively, but I think going forward, I would probably choose this Ghost Rider as my pilot for him. Put him on the last few clicks here with the Steel Energy and the Shape Change. That way he gets a Shape Change rollout, Steel Energy to heal himself up, as well as having regen to heal himself up. And I would probably equip him with a motorcycle to give him super senses. That way he has 2 rollouts that there's not really anything the opponent can do about. And that's just to keep him alive because, like I said, people just ended up dogpiling him and just trying to take him out immediately just so that they could try to outwit his senses. But by the time they did that, usually I would get rid of all their outwits. So it didn't really make much of a difference. But yeah, it could come up. And I want to keep him alive for sure. But anyway, it still played well during the tournament. I think it still went pretty well as is with the pilots I had and everything. So moving on, next up, my next attacker here was the Captain America on the Pegasus. Love the sculpt on this guy, 10 out of 10. But yeah, this guy's a lot of fun, and he also has Defender's keyword, funny enough. So yeah, if you guys don't already know, he has Energy Shield Deflection and Leadership traded, and other friendly characters that are adjacent or have the Asgardian or Avengers keywords can use Energy Shield Deflection. So he would give it to pretty much everybody but Ghost Rider. You know, most of the team anyway would get that, or he would just be adjacent and give it to all of them. Improved movement characters was nice. We did play him at the 40-point line here. So he had his 2 specials, which were Hypersonic Speed, and when he uses it and hits after resolutions, you can choose up to 2 friendly characters. This turn they can use Charge and modify Speed +1 when they use it. Honestly, that didn't really come up. Like, I think I picked Hulk one time just so he'd get +1 when using Charge. But yeah, it was whatever. Mainly just Hypersonic Speed is really good. And then he also has the amazing special attack power that when he targets a single character with an attack, that character can't use defense powers. Very good to note there that he just has to single target a character with an attack. He does have 4 range, so you can hypersonic and shoot 2. Single targeting, meaning they can not use any defense powers. This actually comes in handy a lot when you're dealing with like the APOC and Genesis combo, where, you know, they all have Blades, Claws, Fangs, and they all have stop clicks, and they have the thing where if they would be hit by a close attack, they can roll, and if they roll higher than the opposing character's printed damage, then they evade the attack. So since that's not a defense power, they would have a rollout against him. So you really want to be shooting with him most of the time, if possible. And even with the 3 damage, that's enough to one-shot an Apocalypse or a Genesis. He will take, you know, a couple Mystics damage right away from that, but, you know, not die at least, which is pretty good. I also had him equipped with Bucky's arm for the Close Combat Expert and Super Senses on a 6, mainly because I didn't want him to die super quickly, which he did anyway. He pretty much ended up getting one shot almost every game, but at least half of my games he got in there and KO'd something else first, so, you know, even trade, I feel like. So besides having the Senses on a 6 to maybe save him, which never really happened, the Close Combat Expert was there to give him that extra +1 damage so that he could get in there and one-shot a Kong. That was the main reason. If you know, Kong can pretty much one-shot him with penetrating damage if he single targets him, or he can one-shot a Kong if he hits him first. So, because he can't use his impervious and he can't use his stop clicks. So he was my Kong killer for sure. I sent him after every Kong I saw, which, you know, usually sometimes he ended up dying first. That sucked. But there was a couple times it worked out well. So, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, next up, we had the Prime Hulk taking up our Prime slot for only 10 points. This guy served 2 major uses. So, of course, if you don't already know what he does, he's for 10 points, he can start the game on his red starting line. If he started on his red starting line, he can only heal from his Path of Destruction trait. And when he does, he can heal past his starting line. And his Path of Destruction trait just says, when he destroys 1 or more pieces of blocking terrain after resolutions, heal him a click. If it was a terrain marker, roll a d6 and heal him half the result instead. This got errated slightly. I mean, it still does basically what it sounds like it does, but it's like once per action or whatever, his own action. So if somebody else gives him a move action, it doesn't count. He has to take an action to move or break some terrain himself. And yeah, he also has willpower, and his defense powers have protected outwit. That's really awesome. He would get energy shield deflection from Captain America for the +2 from range. And basically, we would equip this guy with the motorcycle. And yeah, you could give him the hell cycle to give him sidestep. That's not bad. But I personally prefer this. Gives him improved movement characters, which is really nice to get away sometimes. Free move up to 1 square is all you really need. Because you just need a free move 1 to break something. And, you know, if you break a terrain object that's right in front of you, then you can roll a d6. As long as you roll at least a 3 or higher, 3, 4, 5, or 6, you will heal 2 or more clicks up here to charge. And then once he gets to charge, he can use that to charge through another terrain, because he does have improved movement for destroys blocking, of course. And then he can take a close destroy action from the charge to punch another piece of terrain. So he can roll twice off that 1 action. And I've definitely got him up to click 1 a few times, or very close to it. If you can at least get him up to the invincible slot there, you know, you're doing really well with him. So yeah. He's just really, really good for 10 points. And also, one of the main reasons I like this one, you know, gives him +1 movement, the free move 1, the improved movement characters, and also combat reflexes. So he'd have +2 defense up close, and he has energy shield from Cap. So he always had pretty high defenses himself. And those are all protected outwit from his own trait as well. So that was really strong. I liked him a lot. To be honest, the main reason he was there, besides just being a good, cheap, you know, secondary close attacker, he was just there to get rid of barriers. Just TK him out there, run through a bunch of barriers, get rid of them, pick one up if need be, and just clear the way, because blocking terrain is the only thing he can't see through. So he did his job very effectively. You know, he distracted people, he got in some good damage here and there, and he broke a lot of terrain. So that was all he was supposed to do, and he did his job very well. So that is pretty much the whole Defenders team. Last but not least, of course, we were playing both Scott Porters. It's a competitive event, you guys. You have to play both Scott Porters. They're just, you know, ultra value for super duper cheap. It's a theme team, so of course we're playing Scott Porters. I don't really want to go over them for the umpteenth time, so here you go. If you don't know what they do, you can just pause and read. They do 1,000,001 things each. And of course, we did have our white shirt Scott Porter equipped with the Sinestro ring, as one does, because he has all keywords all the time, meaning he can get it just for free. So it gets us another Perplex. So, you know, you got Perplex TK, Perplex Prob, Sidestep Pulse Wave that knocks back everything, rerolls from across the map, healing somebody every turn, and yeah, just nuts how much stuff they can all do. But yeah, that's our main support. They did their job very well. And then, of course, for the sideline, like I said, we had Scrappy Doo, who can come in for any detective, or especially if the white shirt Scott Porter gets KO'd, he comes in as he would have any keyword for the Mystery Ink keyword, so he comes in at full. And then if white shirt Scott Porter or our Iron Hammer gets hit, we get to bring in our War Machine for free as well. Again, I feel like I've talked about these guys a million times. They're just kind of like my go-to sideline figures. So, you know, just there's their cards. If you don't already know what they can do, you can, of course, pause and read them. They get to come in for free under certain circumstances, and sometimes they can help out, sometimes they don't really do anything. It is what it is. But yeah, free characters are free characters. And then, like I said, I had all those pilots on the sideline for Ghost Rider to have a few options. But that's pretty much the team, you guys. If you want to see it, I played a bunch on stream. So shout out to Dial H for Heroclix. They had the whole thing live streamed. I think I played like 3 out of 5 games on the live stream, so that was pretty cool. So there's a lot of gameplay out there for the Iron Hammer. Unfortunately, though, 2 of those 3 games were the only 2 games that I lost the whole day. So you guys mainly get to see me miss attacks and lose. But my other 2 games that were off stream were pretty awesome. They went pretty well, I have to say. And I mean, yeah, going into the top 4, I only lost once to Eric, who won the whole thing. So, you know, he's a great player, and you know, my dice weren't doing too great that last game, unfortunately. I just could not hit, but it is what it is. I mean, I feel like even if I did get a good hit in, I don't think it would have made too much difference because he could just get across the map and get to me first. I really should have picked a different map, if I'm being honest. I think I kind of messed up there right from the get-go. So, you know, you live and you learn. Like I said, I've already tinkered with this team several times. I've probably made half a dozen different versions of it now. So there's a few other things I'm going to try out. If you guys are interested in some more of those builds going forward, make sure to let me know in the comments. Also, if you have any questions or thoughts, let me know all those in the comments as well. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash the like button because it does help me out a lot. And don't forget to click the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. And if you guys would like to help support the channel even more, you can check the links in the description for the Patreon or hit the join button down there for YouTube memberships. Either way, for as little as $1 a month, you get entered into my monthly giveaways and get to see your name here in the credits with all these other awesome people. So if that interests you, make sure you check that out. But that's going to do it for this one, you guys. Thanks again so much for watching. Till next time, this has been Heroclix Headquarters, signing off.